The following presentation is for mature audiences only.
Who are you?
He's a fine man.
All hell is broken loose.
He's a great broadcaster.
He's a very powerful guy. Absolutely brilliant.
Feared by men, adored by women.
He's a smart boy.
It's patriotic.
It's no big deal.
It's the end of the world.
I might as well tell you now. He's a monkey.
And how you doing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? Welcome into another edition of The Wild Side with Eric Clark. I am your not at all humble host, Eric Clark, saying thank you for taking time out of your busy day solving all the world's problems to give this a watch and a listen. If you like it, like it. If you think someone else is going to dig it, throw it their way by giving it a share. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. That way, if there's a tune you want me to check out, you can leave the suggestion below, and I'll put it in my handy-dandy notebook of suggestions. So, so thank you, everybody, for doing that and following the little rules that I have. I don't want to get overwhelmed, which is what's happening. So I implore you, I beg you to go through the comments and just look, and if someone has already suggested the song you'd like to suggest, throw an I concur down there. Thank you again. This is a nice little running joke you guys are doing with me, so I appreciate that. Throw a like on theirs, or hey man, yeah, that's a good idea. That way it's easier for me to compile. If you're new to the channel, if you're new to these little videos that I do, I am a 30-year veteran in rock radio, so I'm coming at these from a radio programmer, music director point of view, from an American corporate radio standpoint. That doesn't mean I don't dig good rock and roll, and I enjoy rock and roll. So I have conflict with the American music industry. I have conflict with the American corporate radio structure. So I'm not going to go into those, but that's the point of view I'm coming from. So again, if you have something you want me to check out, something you want me to give my opinion on, by all means, leave it below. I'll give it a watch, I'll give it a listen, and give you my thoughts. Another way to get a hold of me is through social media, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. If you link up with me through social media, you have a little bit more direct of a line of communication to me. Instead of, hey man, I'm just leaving a comment. If there is something you want me to have a little bit more detail about, that's the best way to get a hold of me as well. And I thank everybody who has done that, because I'm coming into these as ignorant as possible so I can come into them with as fresh eyes as possible. And I do struggle with pronunciation, some geography, culture, things like that, because I've been steeped in American pop culture for 30 years, so I may be a little ignorant to some aspects of things, and I just want to say thank you to everybody who has helped me out and helped me with pronunciations and things like that. Again, you get more flies with sugar than you do with vinegar, if that makes sense. So if you do have something, just remember in the comment section and with each other that this community already has from the outside a negative view of it. Let's not live up to their stereotypes, and let's eschew the training we have from the internet where you automatically go into something negatively. I could sit here all day and pull up these videos and just crap all over them, but that's not why we're here. We're here to enjoy. So let's treat each other with respect, and you get respect back. I love the rock community. It's been my life since as far back as I can remember, and I picked up an Eric Clapton album and put it on my dad's Curtis Mathis gigantic TV with the record player on top. I grew up listening to rock and roll, from Led Zeppelin to Booker T to Alvin Lee to everybody, all the way through Van Halen into metal. So I'm just coming at it from a corporate radio point of view. And remember to respect each other, just like we're at a show, man. That's always been my programming secret. Make sure you're programming a radio station where all the bands play together at one show and everybody gets along. Today's video, we're going to the Ukraine, and it was by suggestion, and it not just one person. A lot of people have been hitting me up to check this video out, check this band out, particularly this song. Now, I was directed to one video, but I'm going to a different video, and I'll tell you why. So the band we're checking out today is Jinjer. They are a Ukrainian band consisting of Tatiana, I believe she goes by Tati, Roman, Eugene, and Vladi. I'm not going to try their names, man. I would do them major disrespect if I tried their names. But they are from the Ukraine. They've toured with Cradle of Filth, I believe I read somewhere. So Tatiana Tati is vocalist, Roman, Eugene, and Vladi. Started with two of them, then they brought two more in. So now it's a four-piece. It is Jinjer. Everybody wanted me to check out Pisces at this live session. And then off to the side, I saw this video, and this is the one I want to check out, and I'll explain why at the end. But we're going to Wacken, open air. I've got to get over there, man. I hate being poor. I hate being broke. I'm not. I'm just kidding, man. But I am a single dad, so it's not like I can just pick up and go. But I would love to go to a festival like this. I really would. It is on my bucket list. It really is. So we're going to Wacken 2009, and we're checking out Jinjer. Pisces is the name of the track, live at Wacken. He looks like the guy at my vape store. Stop. Hold on. Okay. That dude looks Italian, by the way. That, come on, man. Way to eschew the stereotype. Captain America getting his ass kicked in that pit.
You to sing along. Neptune's child, don't be shy. Shivering inside,
part's not that difficult. This part's not that difficult. What is it, just swaying back and forth? Is that because that's going to be the only part of this song? That isn't difficult. I appreciate it, Toddy, but you have a lot of faith in that sweaty, dirty crowd.
Right now, this part is not so difficult.
I bet there's people that believe that.
Cherished his life to the underworld. Meet me flashing when the winter arrives. Show us what you got again.
Tight. That was dope. That was definitely a good track. Thank you for everyone who suggested. That is Jinjer with Pisces live at Wacken 2019. Tatiana, Roman, Eugene, and Vladislav. See, we don't have good names like that. John, Vladislav. We do have a guy named Dick Trickle, which is if you ask him what does he do, if you don't know who he is right now, and I say Dick Trickle, American, what do you think this guy did for a living? You've got to come up with he drove a race car, right? That's at 7 years old in class. He stood up and said, "What's your name?" Dick Trickle. So you're going to be driving a race car. Vladislav. That's a metal name, and I like that. That's very good. So, thank you again for suggesting Jinjer Pisces live. The reason I wanted to watch this video and not the studio was for a very simple reason. I got a buddy of mine who is one of the dads at my school. We do this thing every day where we get there really early, and it's funny because he's a cop. So you got these two guys, this stoner rock DJ and this cop standing there talking about metal. And that's what we do. And it's like this King of the Hill thing, and he's a super redneck from West Virginia, but he loves metal. And he's always telling me, "Dude, you got to see Jinjer, you got to see Jinjer. She does this growl, So the reason I wanted to watch this, and he was one of the people that were like, "Oh, you got to go do Jinjer Pisces." So thank you to everybody. But the reason I wanted to watch this version is because I wanted to, it's almost like I wanted to see it live. And here's why. When I worked at a radio station here in Nashville for many years, we did acoustic sessions with active rock bands. Everybody from Five Finger Death Punch, yes, to Candlebox, to Offspring, to Silver Sun Pickups, Courtney Love. So we've done all of these because it showcases live and acoustic. It forces the artist to bring it. And we're in the days where we can tell if a backtrack is being used. We can tell if a dub loop is being used. We can tell if a drummer is using side fills or loops instead of actually doing the fill. So it's not, there are channels devoted to, exposing these secrets. So when you ask someone to play acoustic or when you ask someone to play really live, and again, going back to that live in this live session, there's still a lot of control and a lot of processing, because that's what I'm now listening for. When she drops into that low register, I want to hear without processing. without any processing. Microphone, cable, amp, speaker. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see it go through the board with the auto fix and all the mids and lows and stuff. I want to see it come straight out. So that's why I wanted to watch this. And I also wanted to hear this band live and to make sure that there's no loops, no backs, nothing like that. Because again, this is a very detailed song. It's very well constructed. The vibe I got from the construction of this song, and I'm just speaking, I'm speaking composition wise. I'm getting Tool and I'm getting Yes, because both of these bands are really good about following traditional classical music structure. Not classical music. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the standard and classical way of structuring things, because these are important to the human. We are geared for hearing certain tones and certain frequencies. And if you have musicians that can understand that and tap into to certain scales and such, they're able to construct and put together songs that flow properly. And they build, they drop, there's troughs, there's peaks, and then there's crescendos, there's finishes. That is one of those tracks. Very well done. Again, obviously these musicians understand how to create a tonal theme. So when I'm hearing musically now let's go to musically speaking, I am hearing a uniqueness fed by rivulets of influence. So I am hearing Deftones. That's in my head. I heard Deftones and Incubus. Deftones and Incubus. That's what I kept saying in my head. The music of that song, the way it flowed, the way it built, the way it dropped, had a very Incubus sound to it, a Deftones sound, Talking Heads in that progressive sound, that understanding that the scales. So I was hearing that, but along with her non-low register voice, when she was singing traditionally, when Tati was singing in her normal register, this may surprise some of you. When her vocals were over that music, what I just described, the music, when her vocals came in, her vocals are very and here's why the band is so good. Here's why she is so good. There's a word I use to describe certain musical sounds, and the term is menthol. Oh geez, I can't. I really hope that sits with you. Her normal singing voice is very menthol, very melodic, very bright in its color, but not. If you know my videos, you kind of get where I'm going. So when she was singing over top of that music, and you're going to get mad at me, I heard Sneaker Pimps. I love Sneaker Pimps. Okay, if you go in my collection, I have 12-inch remixes. I dig Sneaker Pimps. That was a great sound at the time. It was very unique. It was very menthol. It was very dark, but bright. Again, it's difficult for me to describe these things that I see in my head. So now let's talk about Tatiana and that menthol voice. Excuse me. Incredible register. The ability to elevate and decline an octave within a well-constructed song takes a certain type of person to control their voice like that. I wanted to see her without the effects. I wanted to see her without processing. I wanted to say, can she do that? Is that real? But back in the day we had, is it real or is it Memorex? So now I have, is that real or is it autofix? Is it something in the board, a processing on the mic? Is it, excuse me, what is happening to create that? Because when you see bands like Cradle of Filth or Opeth or Lamb of God or even Pantera, that's a really good, the Pantera thing is really good. So I'm sorry about the tangent. When I hear her sing that way, her ability to drop down into the register and then go back into that menthol melodic, it did remind me of Pantera in that you hear, Far Beyond, something off Far Beyond Driven or Cemetery Gates, and you say, yeah, but can the guy sing? And then they release Planet Caravan. And it's like, yeah, dude can sing. So it's impressive when someone has the ability to sing in metal. Again, coming from where I'm coming from and the point of view I have, there's, it seems that metal is quickly divided between the low register growl and the screamy stuff and just the heavy, 3-chord blues based. And again, I have all of my issues with American radio and the American music industry, but that doesn't mean we're not cranking out really good metal bands. It's just the U.S. is different because of its listening audience and the habits of the listeners. But that song right there was very addictively mainstream. It really was. I would, again, you have to understand where I'm coming from. This young lady is unique. She is in control. She is commanding of a presence. Her ability to bring the people in, and I really, sorry I lost it when she said, this isn't the hard, this isn't that hard or something like that. I was like, okay. I'm glad that you are. It's like watching my buddy smash a golf ball, and he's like, and you're like, okay, I get it. You're awesome, and you think we can all just do that too. And that's a sign of humility. That's a sign of it's no big deal. And when that vibe comes off of no big deal, I'm not saying it comes off in the, it's no big deal, I should be here. No. What I'm saying is, to her, it's so second nature, it's so natural that she believes this is no big deal. So everybody, come on, let's sing along. It's like, no, that's just not going to happen. So, as Jinjer Pisces live at Wacken. So I guess the next question would be, as a radio programmer, as a radio music director, would this be a song that I would add to my American music station? And the answer would be, as I've said in the past, I would, only if they were coming to town. I would. But only if they were coming to town. I would spin that track for however long out, couple weeks, just get people used to the sound. Make sure to wrap my promo about them coming to town around that, along with any contests I could do for promotional. Now, this isn't because I'm saying I'm relegating them. What I'm saying is, I like this band. I would like to introduce them to my audience. But you have to remember, I'm shooting buckshot. And you have to remember that I'm appealing to a basic rock listener. And not everybody is into the things I was into. I've sat in many studios, many nights, doing many shows, playing many songs that right behind me I had better songs than. So, again, this isn't about, do I like the tune? Now we're asking, am I going to add it? I would, but I would limit its spin to introduce the real rock listeners to this band. Meaning, I would do a giveaway. I would bring them in for an acoustic session, do a meet and greet, do a little casual thing with people who actually want to meet this band. That is how you grow an international band in the States. You get them on a festival tour, you get them out there with somebody else, and then you work with someone to bring them in and introduce them to your audience. That's how you do it. It's not because people hear it and go, oh, da, da, da. You have to introduce to a mass audience. It does start with a trickle. It really does. Metallica started that way. Very few bands have just, come out and blown up. It's very few. And those few there's a reason we all know who they are. Jimi Hendrix. You could say, well, and even then you could make a point that Jimi Hendrix exploded at Monterey 67. Yeah, he followed the Who because the Who had blown up their stuff. So then Hendrix went out and basically banged an amp and then set his guitar on fire. But even then, you could argue that he had been in England gigging out for a long time, plus the gigs he was doing here at Fort Campbell and all that other stuff. So if you ask Jimi Hendrix, he didn't explode, but he did in a sense. Nobody knew who he was. He does Monterey. Everybody at Monterey is like, oh my God. Even Otis Redding was like, oh my God, it's Jimi Hendrix. Everybody, even though the Who knew it was coming. Oh, I'm going off on a tangent. I'm sorry here. But for a band like Jinjer, they are capable of ingratiating themselves into the United States mainstream, without a doubt. Because again, what you're hearing is System of a Down. You're hearing that Deftones, that Fear Factory, who else? The Mudvayne. So again, it is a palatable song. That's not what I'm saying. It is a great song, and she's a great vocalist, and that's a great band. No matter where the audience is, folks, I don't want to shock you when I say this. Audiences are kind of dumb. You know everything, and you're awesome. You've got great musical taste. When you put a bunch of people out there and start asking them questions, remember, Bieber sold millions, man. So I know people are ashamed, and there is a photo of me with Bieber out there on the internet. So you have to be careful with the American audience. I would love to introduce this band to the American audience. If they aren't already, I think they have toured the U.S., if I'm not mistaken. And I can't remember with whom. Was it Cradle of Filth? Maybe. So there are people in the U.S. who are familiar with them, but we're talking about getting them mass exposure. And the way to do that would be to, like I said, build a promotional, some sort of, as a radio guy, do anything you can creatively to get them out there while still maintaining, we got guys above us, we got the guys with the ties and the collars, until we joke. Oh, you got a collar. Oh, you must be above me in the pecking order. This is literally what I've been wearing to work for 30 years. So that's a battle we have to climb. But for that band, I would go to bat for them. I would definitely, if I were on a music call with their person, I would try to add it in there. Sure. Why not? Just to see if the consultant was listening to the station or not. Because then I could argue why that would be a good ad. So, yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was a good tune. I'm glad I got to see that Wacken 2019 performance because it did prove a point, and I'm glad it did. Good job, Tatty. You're obviously way more talented than 99% of the other vocalists out there, male and female, or however you identify. So, well done. And again, that band was bringing it, without a doubt. Like I said, heavy Tool, heavy Yes, that prog, proper construction of music sound. I really, really dug that. So I'm going to get a little deeper into the Jinjer. I heard it when I said it, and the internet has ruined all of us. Again, thank you very much for suggesting the song Jinjer, Pisces, live Wacken 2019. Again, if you have a suggestion for a song you'd like me to check out, leave it in the comments below. Read through the comments. If you see the song you want to suggest below theirs, just write the I concur, I agree, thumbs up, whatever you want to do. That way I can compile it and say Radio DJ Guy can say this is the most requested tune. And I also want to make sure I thank Aspen Dental and Connect 200. They're the powers that power the wild side with Eric Clark. And recently, they have stepped up big time, and I cannot thank them enough. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You have a little bit more of a direct conduit to me when it comes to communication. Make sure in the comment section and with communication with me and each other, we are treating each other with respect, and we're treating each other with decency. It's just rock and roll, man. It's just rock and roll. Make sure you're looking out for each other. Make sure you're looking out for your neighbor. Try to do at least one good thing a day. I'm Eric Clark, and this has been The Wild Side.